Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The mountain range was bare, the stones on it were mostly all black, mixed with the occasional silver. Luo Feng's team carefully progressed. The center region of this mountain seemed as though it was struck by a heavenly battle knife, splitting it completely open, creating the valley. This enormous valley that seemed to have been split in two by a blade, is the Valley of Wind and Thunder. With universe energy as its core and source and the winds blowing violently about, mixed with large amounts of stones, amongst them were wind cornerstones, dancing in the wind. And within the valley at the two sides of the mountain, groups from families from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, various powers and youths from different planets. They were the younger generation, youths who hadn't yet become true universe warriors. This time was their first step and exam into becoming strong. Luo Feng, this is the map. On it the location I've marked out is an extremely good spot. It'd be best for your team to hide out there. Barbata communicated mentally. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at the screen on his arm. Follow me. Luo Feng said softly. Hong, Thunder God and the other two quietly followed. The closer they got to the valley, the more violent the winds got. Luo Feng came to a particular huge stone and fiercely moved it away, revealing a cave, communicating mentally. Everyone get in, there's a cave within connecting directly to the valley mountain. You can even find such a place? Thunder God couldn't help but compliment. Go in. Hong led the way. In this world of thunder, the spirit reader's area of scanning was very small. That was their ability in the air, and for their spirit reading to pass through the universe energy-infused stones, star levels and below weren't able to do so. Without spirit reading to scan, these sort of places were extremely hard to find. And for someone to actually dig himself? With the mountain rubble that had been strongly ground and molded for long periods of time by the mad winds, it would take at least 1 to 2 days of work to dig through. Good thing we have Barbata. Luo Feng jumped into the cave, covering it with the boulder. This cave was within the mountain. Following the cave, it led directly to one of the Valley of Wind and Thunder's mountain walls. On it was a hole that was about 30 centimeters wide. What's this? Thunder God's eyes lit up. Hong picked up a smooth little stone that was close to the hole's entrance. It was mostly black, but its membrane seemed to emit a peculiar blue color. The normal stones here were all black stones mixed with a little silver. Only the wind cornerstone surfaces had that layer of blue shine. From what they heard, these wind cornerstones had endured the lightning strikes and not get vaporized, absorbing some on the lightning's power and forming the peculiar stones. Wind cornerstone, it's a wind cornerstone. Thunder God said, I never expect to be able to just pick up one wind cornerstone. Luo Feng laughed as he walked towards the hole's entrance. Outside, the wind outside howled bloody murder, and as the cave was completely sealed up, the wind inside was very small. Luo Feng turned over to the other four. The wind outside is terrifying. It'd be hard to obtain another one like that. The only reason why there was one within the cave was probably because it coincidentally flew into the hole because of the wind. However, these sort of things were purely based on luck, otherwise there wouldn't even be one, second and third brother. According to the book, we have 3 options right now. Hong said softly. The first is to go to the peak of the canyon and risk our lives to pick up the wind cornerstones. As the winds get stronger, the deeper we get, the more we get to the center, the stronger it'll be. Hence, the wind above at the peak is much lesser. At least star level 7 and 8 stages can withstand it. The only danger is, as it is the highest point, it'll be easy to attract lightning. Those cumulonimbus clouds above could easily strike down. No chance of survival at all. The second method is to get close to the valley and rely either on spirit reading or raw energy, collecting stones from the winds as they blow past and bring them in. This is much harder than just picking them, but the dangers are also much lower. It requires patience. The third method is to kill and obtain from the other teams, stealing from them. Everybody decide, which method should we use? Hong looked at Thunder God and Luo Feng. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and pondered. Heading towards the peak to retrieve the wind cornerstones would definitely be the fastest. If there wasn't any lightning, it would be as simple as picking stones. However, according to the experiences of the earlier generations, when retrieving the stones at the peak, with all the metal on one's body, the more metal there was, the more likely it'd attract lightning. If one arranged for a metal robot to go, it would 100% get struck down. And humans wearing their normal clothes, the possibility of being struck was about 1 out of 2. If he wore alloy battle uniforms, the probability rose to 2 out of 3. These were all experiences from the generations of elders who had been in the world of thunder before. The first method is very dangerous, and it's purely on luck. It's not beneficial for us. The third method, robbing and killing other teams? Luo Feng shook his head. Right now the position of the cave we have is extremely good. The cave's hole is also on the mountain itself. We'll use the second method for now. At the same time, we'll see how the other teams obtain the wind cornerstones and discuss again then. That's good too. Hong nodded. Thunder God agreed, hence Luo Feng and his group began their waiting game. To catch the flying wind cornerstones through the hole of the cave, 1. It required luck, 2. It required strength. As the howling winds made it impossible to see clearly, with large amounts of rubble flying about, only occasionally would there be 1 or 2 wind cornerstones flying by, hence it required luck. And one had to grab them when it flew past the hole. Grabbing them in a blink of an eye? If you missed it, then you have to wait for a long time again for the next one. There was no way around it. With the mad winds infused with universe energy, one spiritual force, the moment it was materialized and extended, it would immediately be destroyed and dispersed. The spiritual force hand that Luo Feng conjured could only be maintained at about a distance of 20 centimeters outside the cave before dispersing. And the star level 9 Aogu spirit hand could only be extended to about 1 meter without dispersing. More than 1 meter and Aogu couldn't maintain its stability. Ironically, the thing that made Luo Feng the most pleasantly surprised was the currently star level 4 cloud contact vine, after shrinking, could form a vine that was extremely sturdy, and swiftly extend about 2 meters into the mad wind and grab back. Even though the vines would be damaged, its regeneration speed could maintain its lightning-fast extension and retraction at 2 meter. This was indeed a pleasant surprise for Luo Feng. This universe energy-infused howling winds probably had a destructive effect on spirit reading and these forms of energy existences, however it had lesser damage on plant-like things like the cloud contact vine. Within the Valley of Wind and Thunder, most of the teams used this waiting method to try and catch the wind cornerstones, while some others forced their slave bodyguards to head to the peak to risk their lives to acquire the wind cornerstones. However, this was rarely seen as the slave bodyguards were after all battle strength. Losing 1 or 2 of them had a big impact on the team overall. On the 3rd day of being in Wind Thunder Canyon, Luo Feng's group acquired their 2nd wind cornerstone. On the 5th day, they acquired their 3rd wind cornerstone. On the 9th day, they acquired their 4th stone. This was also mainly because their position was good. Normal teams would usually require at least about 1.5 years to travel across half of the world of Thunder, and another 1.5 years to acquire the wind cornerstones. Hence using a few years to complete the mission was very normal. Luo Feng's group was operating on extremely high efficiency. On the 32nd day of being at the Valley of Wind and Thunder, this cave's position is really good. If this keeps up, in another month, we definitely would have collected enough wind cornerstones. Thunder God laughed. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, Tai Nan He and Aogu sat cross-legged. A particular vine had extended from Luo Feng's hand and was stationed at the hole, ready to swipe at any time. In front of the 5 on one of the cave's walls was a screen. That was something Luo Feng had ordered his living AI Barbata to make. On the screen were 4 different scenes, surveying the images and scenes within their 20 kilometers area. Even though we are in a cave, we can still see the teams within a 20 kilometers area clearly. Luo Feng laughed, it's so comfortable. Thunder God praised, look, there's another 2 teams fighting over there. Their evasive skills are really quick. This spirit reader is not bad too. Thunder God's eyes gleamed, evaluating the 2 teams that suddenly appeared on the screen. However, his expression ashen, saying, it's Haruo. Haruo? Luo Feng's expression changed. Back then he and his 2 brothers met a few good friends within the killing fields of the virtual universe network. One of them was Haruo and Bilemu. Back then, the 2 had said they were going to join the universe mercenary trainee exams. The entirety of the Black Dragon Mountain Star Field participants would all gather here, hence the fact that Haruo was here was extremely normal. Let's go. Hong was the first to rush out. Aogu and Tai Nan He looked at Luo Feng quickly. Luo Feng didn't hesitate too. Immediately the 5 swiftly followed the cave's other route and rushed out, using spirit energy to move the inconspicuous stone. The 5 left and placed it back. In the distance, the team Haruo was in was under pressure and attack from another team. Haruo's team only had 2 star level 9 stages, and the enemy's team had 5 star level 9 stages. However, both teams were injured. Obviously they battled fiercely. The 2 teams swiftly noticed another team rushing over in the distance. Haruo. A spirit reading message resounded in his ears. Haruo turned to look. The 5 lightning-fast silhouettes rushing over were Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, his 3 good friends. He immediately revealed an expression of glee, and the 2 rushing ahead of them Tai Nan He and Aogu, especially Aogu who had long released his spirit weapon, becoming a beam of golden light, 2 star level 9 stage warriors. The enemy's team looked, their quantum computers long detecting their opponent's strengths. Retreat. Quickly retreat. The team leader ordered without any hesitation. The team quickly retreated. Even though they were 5-star level 9 stages, there were 3 with serious injuries. One had to know, even within the star level 9 stage, there were strong ones and weak ones. The strong ones were able to fight up to 10 of the same level. Heroes only had one pretty strong star level 9 within his team. This was also the only reason why, even though they were at a disadvantage, they could hold out for so long. And the two of them charging forward, that meant that they had confidence. With the two teams joining together, the enemy team concluded they weren't a match. Even if they could fight back, with both teams incurring huge losses, that was something they didn't want, hence they just retreated. Luo Feng's team and Haruo's team united. Thanks. You all are? Immediately a bald youth with green marks on his both sides of his face walked over to say his thanks. They are my friends. Haruo said, walking forward at the same time. Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God. Haruo said, what happened? How did you end up like that? Luo Feng and the other two looked at Haruo. Thunder God said, Haruo, aren't you from the Northern Dragon Organization? How did you end up like this? Thunder God and Hong had realized the importance of universe language after their first time in the virtual universe network, hence they studied and learned it. With their brain aptitude, learning was indeed very fast. While it wasn't completely fluent yet, communicating wasn't a problem. Talking about it, it's really tragic. Haruo shook his head. Our team originally had 5 elites and 5 bodyguards. During the time we went to acquire the horns from the horned iron rhinos, we were surrounded by ferocious beasts and lost 1 bodyguard. After that, along the way to the Valley of Wind and Thunder, we were even attacked 6 consecutive times by other teams, and in that process, we lost another 2 bodyguards and 3 elite comrades. Haruo's expression was pained. Right now, our team only has 2 elites and 2 bodyguards left. Luo Feng felt a chill as he heard the story. My God! Even though his own team had experienced about 10 life-threatening situations, they were mostly dangers from ferocious beasts. As for robbing, with Aogu's power combined with the hybrid copper essence shard, it was a clean sweep. Along with Barbata's surveillance system, Luo Feng and his group had had an arduous journey along with injuries, but they hadn't lost anyone. However, Haruo's team actually lost more than half of their members. What about Bulemu? Thunder God asked, is he in another team? He's dead. Haruo shook his head. Luo Feng was shocked. That build and sturdy youth who looked like a black bear, he was dead? Luo Feng still vividly remembered the scene back when he, Hong and Thunder God wished the two of them a safe return. He never thought that within the blink of an eye, Bulemu was dead. How did it end up like this? There's no point being depressed about it. Haruo shook his head and smiled bitterly. The many brothers and sisters I've lived with for many years, I've already lost many of them. This is our so-called elite's first exams. Only through experiencing life and death struggles time and again will we finally be able to break through and become universe levels. Only those have the right to be called strong and become an important member of the organization. Filtering. Beside, the bald green-marked youth shook his head. This is filtering. Large numbers of the so-called geniuses and elites are eliminated through these life and death missions, dying. And only through these trials are some universe levels are produced. Our training camp has tens of thousands of elites, the ones who manage to become universe levels. If there are 10 of them, that's not bad already. Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God exchanged glances. Cruel, very cruel. These were the rules of the universe organizations, collecting large numbers of geniuses and elites, giving the best education along with large amounts of conditions, before giving them the most cruel forms of elimination, finally producing a few strong warriors. One could say, joining the universe mercenary trainee exams couldn't even be deemed a strong warrior. This was all to prepare the strong warriors, going through with a ratio of a 1,000 to 1. No, that was the probability of the elites of the large organizations. Accurately speaking, it was tens of millions to 1. They may be able to produce a universe-level rumble. The entire world of Thunder suddenly fiercely vibrated. Without any warning, it quaked. All the teams were shocked. What's going on? Luo Feng looked around. Over there. Somebody shouted out. About 10,000 star-level warriors, as long as they were in the mountain range, they all saw simultaneously the not-so-distant mountain tear open, with black holes that seemed to have been rips in space and time appearing. Half of these holes were on the mountain range, while the other half were within it. The space around it was getting ripped apart. It was extremely terrifying and peculiar. Look, what's up with that? Thunder God's eyes stared wide, pointing at the distant black holes that can tear up the world of Thunder. Beside them, Haruo from the North Dragon City team said, creasing his eyebrows. At the same time, Luo Feng was pondering and staring at the black holes. These black holes were far from the normal caves. They ripped apart time and space, peculiar existences. Barbata, just what are these black holes? They should be a world's entrance. Right, a world's entrance. Barbata said excitedly, a world's entrance. Luo Feng held his alloy battle knife, feeling suspicious. At that time, tens of thousands of explorers on the mountain range looked at the black holes. Suddenly a voice resounded, a world within a world. This could very well be the entrance to the world within this world. Right, a world within a world. It's exactly a world within a world. Quickly. Large numbers of star-level youths, coming from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire families, powers, or even some youths from other planets with peculiar appearances, all burned up with raging enthusiasm, all becoming beams of lights, over 10,000 beams of light swiftly flying straight towards the distant black holes. It's a world within a world. Haror too was extremely excited. World within a world? Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God were curious. At this time information popped out before them. Those explorers coming from families and different planets had understanding about several explorer stories and matters. However, Luo Feng and his brothers hadn't interacted with the virtual universe for too long. They didn't really know much yet. Quickly rush, don't let them go steal it first. Haror shouted. His team swiftly rushed towards the black holes. Even though Luo Feng felt suspicious, his group still followed the large groups of teams and armies towards the black holes. Luo Feng, don't be anxious. Barbata's voice resounded. You can wait a few minutes and it'll be fine. Barbata, what's a world within a world? Luo Feng asked. A sector lord is able to create a world, this you know. And within this world itself, creating another concealed world. This second world is known as a world within a world. Barbata explained. However, to be able to build a world within a world, one first has to make sure that second world is stable enough, and that requires a huge amount of universe crystals as its foundation. Luo Feng understood. World of Thunder, this was hidden within a villa on Can Land Star. And this world within a world was hidden within a secret place within the world of Thunder. The cost of building a world within a world is extremely huge. Hence, it's mostly used to store and hide treasures. Only because of that will one not mind the costs and build it. Barbata said. The black holes that appeared on the mountain range around the Valley of Wind and Thunder attracted the gathering of a large number of explorers, of which there was a group all dressed in black uniform, 9-star level 9 stages and 1-star level 2. It was the initial group that had attacked and killed the Horned Iron Rhinos, the 9th Prince team, Lord. A bodyguard said respectfully, interesting, very interesting. The pale-skinned youth held a battle knife, looking at the black holes, smiling. A world within a world? The cost of building a world itself is already huge enough. To build another world within the first one, the difficulty is more than 10 times harder. Sector Lord, to actually bear to pay such a huge price to build a world within a world, there must be some real treasures hidden within. This world of Thunder was long excavated by others. And later it even became the Universe Mercenaries' exam place. After so long, with countless people passing in and out, no one had discovered this world within a world. It was actually unintentionally opened by that team. The youth revealed a smile. Luck. This is pure luck. The Lord's luck has always been good. The black uniform bodyguard said respectfully, no, this world within a world is a fat piece of meat that's too big. The youth shook his head, something that made the sector lord not care about the costs and build a new world to actually hide it. It definitely must be treasures that would even make other sector lords crazy for. The news of this world within world will swiftly spread to the 4 organizations, the strongest from our empire, the domain lords and even the sector lords will rush over. Hence, these group of star-level explorers won't be able to get any real treasures. The youth said condescendingly, if you, the lord, were to get a treasure, the strong still wouldn't dare snatch it from you. The black uniform bodyguard said. The youth smiled. The team closest to the entrance had sent their robot in through the entrance and it's returned. The entrance to the world within a world is safe. Let's go, we'll enter. The youth ordered. The 9 bodyguards complied, quickly. The entrance to the world within the world is safe, we can enter. 100 Tiger Building brothers hurry and enter. The star-level explorers were all mad with the rush, and Luo Feng's group along with Haror's group swiftly passed through the black hole with others. This is the world within a world? Luo Feng looked around. The world within was currently dark night. In its darkness little threads of light floated down, making one unable to see far with the naked eye. Brother Luo Feng, please wait, I have to report the news to my organization. Haruo said, report to the organization? Luo Feng looked at Haruo. Hong and Thunder God too were shocked, encountering such a big matter. If I dare to not report it, after the incident I'll definitely suffer for it. Haruo shook his head. Beside him, his other partner had already closed his eyes and his consciousness was connected to the virtual universe. After which Haruo closed his eyes. As for the two bodyguards, they stood beside them and guarded. Luo Feng sighed quietly. These heirs and disciples under the organization's influence on them was too absurd. Looks like the 4 organizations within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire will come to know of the news very quickly. The Black Dragon Mountain star field contained over 8,000 galaxies. The number of life planets ranged in the trillions. The 4 organizations' connections and roots spread over many galaxies, and of which in terms of position, power, the Black Cloud Guild, the North Dragon City, the 100 Tiger Building and the 3-Axe Mountain, the undisputed strongest would be the 3-Axe Mountain. The 3-Axe Mountain was different from the other 3 organizations. The other 3 organizations trained their elites etc., but the 3-Axe Mountain didn't even accept star levels. The lowest requirement to join them was to be a universe level. In terms of position, the 3-Axe Mountain, their universe levels are soldiers, their domain lords are commanders and their sector lords are generals. According to hearsay, the 3 founders of the 3-Axe Mountain have the highest ranks, generals. These 3 founders, 2 have become undying while another reached the pinnacle of sector lords tens of thousands of years ago, deemed invincible amongst the sector lords. After this there was no news of him, no one knew if he became an undying or died. You are talking about the world of thunder on Kanlan Star. A man dressed in a dark red battle uniform, donning a peculiar black cape, said to an old man with a white cape and silver hair, "Yes, General." The old man said respectfully, "You can go." The general ordered, "Yes, sir." The old man's silhouette disappeared in a flash. The man dressed in a dark red battle uniform curled his lips slightly, his eyes flashing with electricity, his fingers gently motioning. The surrounding space began to ripple, even creating a slight tear in the space. The general ordered. The world of thunder was something Kabu created back then. No wonder no one has been able to find the treasures he hid. He actually created a world within a world. The Universe Mercenary Alliance is also very interesting. They long discovered and excavated this world of thunder for so many years, taking all of its treasures. Only after did they send a large number of ferocious beasts in and make it an exam ground. Who would have thought this exam grounds would have a world within a world? Very interesting. Kabu, after dying for 10 million years, you still make us worry. The general's eyes gleamed, his gaze seemed as though it could poke a hole through space. Back then, his secret techniques of space which he acquired may even be left in that world within a world. World of Thunder, back then the world of Thunder Sector Lord Kabu created it, and there's a world within a world? Sector Lord Kabu created this second world. The treasures he hid in them are definitely not your average treasures. Luckily, Kanlan Star is not too far from where I am. Quickly, hurry to the ships. Immediately set out for Kanlan Star. In a particular base, large numbers of Star Level 9 stages swiftly rushed into ships, after which 2 domain lords entered the ships and they departed immediately. That day, the news shook the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Even though the Black Dragon Mountain Empire governed over 8,000 galaxies, one sector lord was still considered the pinnacle of strength within the Black Dragon Mountain Empire already. For example, the 6 great families all got their position because of having one sector lord. The creator of the world of thunder, the sector lord Kabu, was the pinnacle of sector lords back then. He created a world within a world. Just what treasures did it hold? The entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire, even the royal family sent its men and armies. The 4 organizations sent their strongest. In the eyes of the strongest, the star-level explorers may have been the ones to discover the world within the world. However, the real people able to obtain the treasures within would undoubtedly be these people. Star level? They were cannon fodder. On a fire-red planet, diameter of 8,600 kilometers, its surface was filled with red sand. This particular sand, rocky planet didn't have a chance for life. Its surface temperature reached up to over 3,000 degrees, unsuitable for regular living by humans. This kind of planet could be found all over the universe. On this planet, in a fire-red tall mountain. The wind blew the sand about. There was dead silence in the mountain. Very suddenly, the entire mountain violently exploded open, trillions of rubble scattering in all directions and flying about. A purple fire rushed towards the sky, engulfed in a purple flame, dressed in armor, eyes burning. A bald man floated in the air. His forehead had a peculiar flame tattoo. Sector Lord Kabu actually left a world within a world? No wonder after so many years no one heard any news of where he left the secret space technique crystal ball. That crystal ball might very well be in that world within the world. That would be a complete inheritance. Ha ha, it's mine. Rumble, a huge silver pyramid appeared before him, very similar to the automaton ship on Earth, only a little smaller. This silver pyramid's bottom automatically opened into a small pathway, within it colors flashed about, extremely beautiful. The bald man engulfed in a purple flame who looked like a god entered the ship, after which swiftly leaving that dead silent planet, increasing in speed and entering universe travel, heading towards Canlan Star. World within the world. The thousands to tens of thousands of star-level explorers entered through the black hole, all in their teams, swiftly heading in all directions and covering the skies and land. Third brother, where should we head to? Hong looked at Luo Feng. We cannot waste any time. Thunder God was extremely anxious. Luo Feng looked in all directions. At that time, Hero, who had connected to the virtual universe to report the news, opened his eyes, looking apologetic at Luo Feng's group. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, my apologies, I have to act according to the orders and meet up with the rest of my organization. After which his team swiftly left. Follow me. Luo Feng too rose into the air. Hong, Thunder God, Tainan He and Aogu followed. The five-man team swiftly flew closer to the ground. Before, the blurred images of the tens of thousands of explorers surrounded them, however once dispersed, and after flying for a few minutes, Luo Feng's team was totally secluded with no one around them. This world within a world was simply too huge. The tens of thousands of people here were simply a drop of water within a vast ocean. Third brother, we're just going to fly like this? Hong looked at Luo Feng. We can only do this. Luo Feng explained, a world within a world is a world itself. It's extremely huge, who knows where the treasure is hidden? Hence we can only search blindly like looking for a needle in a haystack. Luckily we have a surveillance area of 20 kilometers, as long as there's any treasure within this area we will definitely notice it immediately. Luo Feng was very clear, with the vastness of the world within a world, the optimum method of searching was this. Sticking close to the ground, and letting Barbata search within the 20 kilometers area, reporting the moment he discovers anything, big and second brother. Luo Feng smiled, before when Hero and the others went to gather with his North Dragon Castle group, you should both notice something, right? Thunder God nodded. The various big powers are arranging them to meet and work together. Grabbing treasures from the world within the world. The number of people was important, and the 4 great organizations, 16 big families had many people within the world within a world. The moment they gathered, they could form teams of hundreds. And for teams like Luo Feng's, which were considered leisurely, without much background, if they fought against teams of hundreds, it was pure suicide. Hence, we must remain inconspicuous. Luo Feng laughed. If we can find any treasures that'd be great, if not, we'll dig for some universe crystals. Every world has universe crystals. A world that had yet to be excavated, the amount of universe crystals should be plenty. This was a currency that the entire universe used. The world within a world didn't have any ferocious beasts. It was a quiet world. It's really quiet. Luo Feng exclaimed, quiet is normal. The ferocious beasts within the world of thunder were there completely because the Universe Mercenary Alliance used the place as an exam grounds, bringing them in and moving them about within. Thunder God muttered, actually, without any ferocious beasts, it kind of takes away the thrill of using flying to rush about. Stop! A voice resounded fiercely within Luo Feng's mind, stop! Luo Feng immediately used spirit reading to mentally communicate. The suddenly shout caused the other 4's ears to ring loudly, damn! Thunder God couldn't help but hold his ear, glaring, Luo Feng, you could speak softer. Luo Feng couldn't care less about his second brother's rubbish, communicating mentally with Barbata. Following that he surveyed his surroundings and said softly, everybody be careful, we've found a place to start digging. Digging? Hong and Thunder God were shocked, right, 3,200 meter underground here there's universe crystals. Luo Feng said softly, universe crystals? Damn, universe crystals? Thunder God immediately stared. This land is made up for earth and soil. 1,900 meter deeper would be rocks and stones. However, the rock stratum here shouldn't be too solid, unlike those at the Valley of Wind and Thunder, with long periods of welding from the mad winds and lightning. It should only take a day to dig through. Luo Feng said softly. Universe crystals, that was a windfall. And it was an absolute currency, much more valuable than Gunwu dollars. And right now Luo Feng was very lacking in money. Accurately speaking, the moment the Golden Horned Beast broke through to the universe level, that was when Luo Feng would be severely lacking in money. The 10 billion Gunwu dollars his teacher had left him in his first account was left with less than 5 billion Gunwu dollars. However, the moment the Golden Horned Beast broke through, from the universe level 1 to the Domain Lord level 1, required 1,000 years. In order to accelerate the evolution, he required purchasing many valuable and expensive metal groupings. And the metal groupings the universe level required were much more expensive than the star level, and it required an even larger amount. Luo Feng's 5 billion Gunwu dollars, using the optimum metal groupings, wouldn't even be enough for a month of the Golden Horned Beast's consumption. Of course, if he swallowed only normal metals and remains etc., it would be much cheaper. However, the evolution speed would be much slower too. Luo Feng couldn't afford to waste any time.